Rupert Murdoch at 92 deciding to finally step down and hand over News Corp and Fox over to his son Lachlan, who, as I mentioned in headlines, he's older, but he's considered more of the Roman type, right? Like a little bit more alt-righty, a little edgier. He's not the one that James, who now says he's a liberal, who dropped out of Harvard to start his own hip-hop label, which then his dad had to buy. This is the other guy, the more true believer, I would say. And as of now, he is at least the person to take over for his father. Rupert Murdoch's legacy is that of unimaginable destruction, of viral cynicism, of hatred that he imbued in the international community, both in his work in Australia, in the UK, and in the United States, shaping presidential administrations, shaping wars, through his incredible amounts of power, might, and money. Go ahead,
He's
Matt.
a baron like, JP Morgan or any of those sorts of Henry Ford, except his product is sort of bigotry and, political propaganda, but also just vulgarity in service of political propaganda. One of the most significant people of the last 40 years.
100%. It can't be overstated, his impact and the destruction, the destructive impact. This morning when the news was announced, Bill Hemmer, Dana Perino, considered, two of the people who are a bit more respectable at the Fox News desks, announcing that Rupert Murdoch is stepping away from his role at the company.
Boss Rupert Murdoch is transitioning from chair of our parent company, Fox Corporation. In a note to employees today, he says he's decided that in November he will move to the role of chairman emeritus at both Fox and at Fox Corp. He says going forward, his son Lachlan will be the sole chair of both companies. In his note, Rupert Murdoch says for his entire professional life, he's been, quote, engaged daily with news and ideas, and that will not change. And he says he will still be an active member of the Fox community, reaching out with thoughts and ideas and advice as he does every day. He goes on to say, quote, our companies are in robust health, as am I. Our opportunities far exceed our commercial challenges. We have every reason to be optimistic about the coming years. I certainly am, and plan to be here to participate in them. But the battle for the freedom of speech and ultimately the freedom of thought, he continues, has never been more intense. My father firmly believed in freedom, and Lachlan is absolutely committed to the cause, end quote. In a news release today, Lachlan congratulated his father on his 70-year career in media. He says this, we thank him for his vision and his pioneering spirit, his steadfast determination, and the enduring legacy he leaves at the companies he founded and countless people he has impacted, end quote. We'd like to add our gratitude as well.
I'm sure you would.
Rupert Murdoch created all of this and so much more across America and the globe. His life's work has left an indelible imprint on the global media landscape. His contributions are both innumerable and extraordinary, and we thank him for letting us be a part of it all. Thank you, Rupert, and congratulations.
Indeed, and without him, we would not be here.
True on that.
And we thank him for that. And the point about his being in robust health and robust with ideas, we can attest to that.
You're right.
Man.
Robust with ideas.
Right. Lots of ideas he had. He has made an indelible impact. There's nothing beyond the fellatio there. There's the words are correct in the fact that,
It's kind of neutral. He made an indelible impact.
That's.
I wish I was delible.
Yeah. It is true. He has been in the ear of presidents, most recently Donald Trump, Tony Blair, until his ex-wife bonked him, allegedly. That's a fun read that I did the other night. Honestly,
Wendy
coincidentally, yeah, Wendy Dang, total girl
or
boss.
dang Wendy.
Yeah, dang. And then he stopped. He cut off his relationship with Tony Blair at that point, allegedly after his wife was involved. She had love letters to Tony that were discovered in the divorce proceedings, but we'll put that aside for now. Like, what he did with Tony Blair was also sell the Iraq War to him. He sold the Iraq War to the U.S. public through a torrent of Islamophobia and lies about WMDs. He was as instrumental as anybody in making that lie spread far and wide, including to someone like Tony Blair, who involved the UK in the Iraq War in large part due to his close relationship with someone like Rupert Murdoch, and then, of course, obviously his relationship with George W. Bush. Rupert Murdoch was instrumental in selling Brexit to the public in the UK. Turfism, the mainstreaming of trans exclusionary radical feminism, you can draw a lot of that more recently to Murdoch's television shows and papers in the UK, including, the supposedly more respectable Times of London, which he also owns. They were laundering anti-trans bigotry more recently. Infamously, he also did own the News of the World, which is now, I think, defunct, after they were embroiled in that phone hacking scandal where they hacked phones of celebrities, the royal family, the family of a little girl that got murdered so that they could sell that to the public. And let alone Fox's role in selling the election lies, his presiding over Tucker Carlson being the top-rated host in the country, selling white replacement theory to the public, being Bill O'Reilly holding that seat previously with Tiller the baby killer, anti-abortion extremism that Fox News was a huge part of, leading to the killing of Dr. Tiller. He was fine, seemingly, with Roger Ailes' persistent sexual harassment and assault regime when he led that network.
This man paid millions and millions of dollars to guys who were sexual assaulters.
COVID lies, climate change denial, the Islamophobia that I mentioned, that he fomented for years and years and years in the Bush administration, leading to the Islamophobia that he framed political conversations around Obama with, that his networks did as well. Anti-black racism directed at everyone from someone like Obama to anti-racist activists. You can draw a line to like many of the conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton and the public perception of her as being kind of the mayor of corruption town that was sold to the public by Fox News.
Well,
like, he was a monopolist of disinformation, and I'm just trying to list these things so people, when they look back on this, understand what it was an impact. It was an enormous impact for the worse for this world.
I think we run the risk of blaming all of like the QAnon sort of stuff from on the internet and stuff like that. But like Murdoch does as much as anyone to debase print media and you go into like the profit of just complete scandal, especially with the Sun newspaper, but also with like Fox News and the way that they handle stuff generally, like all the way up, like using tabloid stuff to further reactionary ends. I mean, it really debased the entire cultures and way of thinking about things like capitalism and stuff like that, the way he got involved in politics. Like one of the worst guys, we've seen.
Yeah, and Fox News is not going to change. I mean, he's created an organism that will be self-sustaining in a way. We will see where it goes from there. But his career is marked by also being somebody who wasn't just comfortable with disinformation being pushed by his own like boutique outfits. He wanted to be a monopolist. He bought up at a certain point like 70% of the papers in Australia, then, bought a ton of papers in the UK, and then in the United States, he bought the Wall Street Journal as well. Like, he wants his impulse for endless growth, and also like the bigotry that his networks espouse is as emblematic of like the destructive nature of capitalism constantly needing to grow to the point where it becomes such a behemoth that it's impossible to take down.
Yeah, he split, in the 80s, supported the Brits in the Falklands. Like, he's always seen the use of war in terms of making profit for himself. Also big against the miners' strike in 84 and 85, supported the police and Thatcher. So, I mean, you know, it's Murdoch.
Yeah, it's Murdoch. I mean, people know, but I think it is important to, as he announces this, to reflect on that legacy, and I'm sure we will do some more in the weeks to come as we reckon with it, because he really was. He's like in Lord of the Rings. What's that guy's name? Wormtongue. He's a bit of a presidential wormtongue. The guy that goes in the no one's as nerdy
Wormtongue's
as
too
me.
powerful. Or no, isn't he like not powerful?
Wormtongue is the guy that gets in the ear of the king and makes him weaker by spreading.
See, I think like Murdoch, but I kind of like I knew that, but I feel like Murdoch is almost his own like kingmaker.
That's true. That's true. That's maybe selling him short a little bit.